Hello, I'm Linda Tan Spicer. As we all know, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. The question is not so much are we ready for what's coming. Things are going to happen anyway, and they are not going to wait for you to be ready. The more important question is, do we have the strategies to manage what life is going to throw at us, especially when things are not happening the way we would like? In this video, I'm going to share a simple think, feel, act model and 3 strategies that we can manage ourselves better when life throws a curveball at us. So let's jump straight into it. This model looks at the relationships and interactions between the way we think, feel, and act. The brain is continuously thinking, assessing, judging everything that is happening around us. The way we think is going to influence the way we feel and how we are going to act. Our feelings is also going to influence the way we think and act. The way we act will have an impact on how we feel and think. As we can see, the way we think, feel, and act are all linked, and they are constantly interacting and influencing each other. Say someone raises his voice at you, and you think to yourself, "This is not my fault. How dare you accuse me in front of everybody? I need to defend myself." You feel angry with the person. Your action might be to raise your voice too and defend yourself. The next thing you know, the situation has escalated into a long, heated argument. And for some of us, we are not even aware that we are contributing to this negative cycle. The good news is this: once we are aware of this vicious cycle, we can change the outcome with some simple strategies. This will prevent us from being the victim of our own reactions. Strategy 1. We need to know to hit the pause button when something happens. I first learned about hitting the pause button from this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey in 1996. In his book, Habit 1, Be Proactive, he says we have the freedom to choose how we want to respond in any given situation. He points out that the word responsibility is made up of 2 words, response and ability. This means that we have the ability to choose our responses. So, hit the pause button and breathe. Take a deep breath and hold it for 4 seconds. Remember the think, feel, act model. What goes through our mind, the way we think, is going to influence the way we feel and how we are going to act. We have the freedom to choose how we want to respond to the situation. So, don't just simply react. Instead, choose to be proactive. Next, strategy 2. Reframe. Reframe our thoughts and the way we think. It's our thoughts that attach meaning to the situation. Just because we think it, it doesn't mean to say that it is true, that it reflects reality. By the way, there are many people around who have very different ways of thinking about the same situations. There may be many differing views and perspectives. So, it is not so much about what happens to us, but the meaning that we attach to what happens that really matters. I find the strategy of reframing very helpful. Reframing is about changing our perspective in a given situation to give it a more positive and beneficial meaning. Reframing can be used to remove limiting beliefs, change negative thoughts, or to help us appreciate positive moments that we might otherwise miss. Now, we can learn to observe our thinking by asking, what am I saying? What story am I making up? We can then rewrite our stories, put them in perspective, and to put things in a more positive and encouraging light. Let's take the most recent COVID-19 pandemic as an example. Many lives, individuals, organizations, and countries are impacted. As for me, my work as a speaker and master trainer in my consulting company has almost come to a halt. I can't change the situation, but the meaning I'm going to attach to the current situation is totally up to me. I hit my pause button to observe my thoughts and my feelings. There are many fear and shock related statements I have made, such as, the world is falling apart, the economy is crashing down and is never going to be the same again. This is very worrying. Now I know I must reframe my thoughts to make them work for me. So I look for alternative ways to frame the situation. I first explore alternative views to the current situation. I tell myself to see the pandemic as a challenge for me to be more resilient and to see this as an opportunity to offer more online webinars, training sessions for my existing clients. Then I ask myself, what can I learn from this? Immediately, I shift my thinking from focusing at the problem to finding new opportunity to learn and improve myself. Check out my first video this trying season as I narrate and share my perspective on how I choose to respond in this pandemic. How about you? How would you narrate your story in this pandemic? What would you say to give it a more positive and beneficial meaning to help you bounce back? Are there any limiting beliefs and negative thoughts that you need to challenge and replace? Can you count your blessings, practice gratitude, and appreciate positive moments even in this crisis? When you remember to create the space to think and not just react, when you start to reframe your thoughts, you will soon realize how your thinking begins to influence and change the way you feel. Strategy 3. Think it, do it. Sometimes our response to the situation is not to act. This could be because there is just so much to do and we don't know where to start. Or because we don't have the mood, we don't have the energy to do what we should be doing. Or it could be just because we don't feel like doing anything. And our inactions can sometimes make things worse. It can continue to reinforce our negative thinkings and feelings. So we shouldn't just let our emotions drive our actions. Instead, consider what is the first small steps we can take or should take. Yes, think it, do it. Smile, even though we don't feel like it. Go and exercise, even when we are not in the mood. Help others, even if it is inconvenient for us, but we know it's the right thing to do. Practice our power stance. Lift our heads up, chins up, raise our hands up, even though we feel fearful and discouraged. Do it. Do it long enough, and you will start to see that your actions really can affect the way you feel. When we press on, we'll soon gain momentum, and our next step will become clearer as we benefit from our small little steps. We'll become more hopeful, positive, and optimistic in our thinking. I find this heightened awareness of think, feel, act model to be a very useful tool to keep our heads above water. But we must first be willing to hit the pause button, not allowing our situation to dictate how we think, feel, and act. Instead, we are committed to reframe our thoughts, challenge our beliefs, and silence those negative voices. We need to replace them with a more constructive, hopeful, and encouraging way of thinking. And we must choose to act in a more positive way. Yes, this requires determination, a lot of it. For some of us, it can be incredibly difficult. We must know when to seek professional help. If you need to, go and visit a therapist, talk to a professional counselor, determine to work things through. It is a practice. It is a process. Although life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get. But we can always turn those dark and bitter chocolates into a delicious chocolate cake. Thank you for watching. Do leave a comment to let me know your thoughts on this. Thank you and see you again.